Dear student of class 10, good morning student. Today we will study the remaining part of the story, A Long Walk to Freedom, autobiography of Nelson Mandela. In his speech he says, just to recall you I am telling this to you. In his speech he says, a new government has been formed in South Africa and now there will be no discrimination with anyone. Each one will have freedom and there will be no discrimination on the basis of color of the skin. Now student, I am going to read the next passage. Listen to me carefully. That day had come about through the unimaginable sacrifices of thousands of my people whose suffering and courage can never be counted or repaid. I felt that day, as I have on so many other days, that I was simply the sum of all those African patriots who had gone before me. That long and noble line ended and now began again with me. I was pained that I was not able to thank them and that they were not able to see what their sacrifices had wrought. Now Nelson Mandela is talking about sacrifices of thousands of people living in South Africa. They were suffering from discrimination. Their sacrifices cannot be recounted, cannot be paid into money. Nelson Mandela felt that those African patriots who had lost their lives in the long battle of freedom, he did not like it. He says, and talked about the sacrifices of the people. They have done the sacrifices for the country. Rot means done. Rot means done. Now the next passage I am going to read. Listen to me carefully, then I will describe the passage to you. The policies of apartheid created a deep and lasting wound in my country and my people. All of us will spend many years, if not generation, recovering from the profound hurt, but the decades of oppression and brutality had another unintended effect, and that was that it produced Oliver Tambo, the Walter Sisulu, the Chief Luthulis, the Yusuf Dadus, the Brian Fishers, the Robert Subokus of our time, men of such extraordinary courage, wisdom and generosity that their life may never be known again. Perhaps it required such a depth of operation to create such heights of character. My country is rich in mineral and gems that lie beneath its soil, but I have always known that its greatest wealth is its people, finer and truer than the purest diamonds. There was a policy of apartheid. There was a discrimination on the basis of color of skin in South Africa. This forced the people to come forward and took part in the freedom struggle. These people either lost their lives or they were arrested. Their sacrifices cannot be repaid, and because of those discrimination, the people came forward like Oliver Tambo, Walter Sisulu, Brian Fishers, etc. These people having wisdom, they were very generous towards their country. Their sacrifices never been repaid. These sacrifices required such a depth of operation, such a depth from the inner heart of the people. We all know South Africa is a country, it has so many minerals under its soil, but according to Nelson Mandela, its greatest wealth, the greatest wealth of South Africa, it is its people. Nelson Mandela is talking about. Now I am going to read the next passage. It is from those comrades in the struggle that I learned the meaning of courage. Time and again, I have seen men and women risk and give their lives for an idea. I have seen stand up to attacks and torture without breaking, showing a strength and resilience that defies the imagination. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Now South African President Nelson Mandela is talking about those helper and supporter while he was in the jail who risked their lives for the certain ideas. It gave him strength and it also provided him strength to bear the hardship. Those people, he learned from those people, and he knew that brave people are not those people who never got fear. Brave are those people who feel afraid but overcome from those fear. Now I am going to read the next passage. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, of his background or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Even in the grimmest time in the prison, when my comrades and I were pushed to our limits, I would see a glimmer of humanity in one of the guards, perhaps just for a second, but it was enough to reassure rather me and keep me going. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished. Now Nelson Mandela is talking about no person in the world, nobody in the world had arrived on the world and knew instantly how to discriminate people on the basis of their color, on the basis of their background, on the basis of their religion which they follow. No, people must learn to hate. It is necessary, but people also learn to love, because love comes more naturally than its opposite, hate. Nelson Mandela is saying us, even in the grimmest time, even in the saddest time in the prison, his helper or his supporters in the prison who were pushed to our limits, that means they cannot come out of the prison. They were limited, they were fixed at one place, behind the bars, in the cell of the prison. There Nelson Mandela learned one thing from the guard. For just a second, it was enough for him to keep his idea going, wanted to be free. And he knew instantly that man's goodness is inside, in their chest, in their heart. That can be hidden for some time, but that cannot be died down. Distinguished means died down. That cannot be exhausted. Thank you, student. The remaining part of the story we will study in our next class.